This here's from the BBC. It appears possibly Dan Wootton's now in the hot seat again. Dan Wootton tricked colleague into sending intimate pictures, court told. And now sometimes you'll get kind of a rag attacking Dan for attention or whatnot. But the BBC, I'm going to guess, isn't really out for some kind of a personal entanglement with it. A former colleague of Dan Wootton was tricked by the journalist and broadcaster into sending intimate pictures and an explicit video of himself, according to a case logged at the High Court. I must say, this is tricky to prove. If I'm going to be critical and honest, Dan's got some status. So for a potential partner or something like that, it wouldn't be out of the question to think someone would try to impress Dan, send a video or something. Just saying. But of course, Dan has a terrible track record, mostly because of the thing with Johnny, so it's not like he's trustable, so I could easily see this person being right. A hearing on Tuesday heard that Dan Wootton pretended to be a woman using the name Maria Joseph in online messages with the man who has brought this case who can't be named. And by the way, this article is from April 2025, very recent. So they're not talking about the old case with the catfishing, which was there as well. In written submissions, the individual's barrister, Justin Levinson, told the court that Mr. Wootton sent the man partially and naked photographs of a woman, as well as a video of a couple having sex in 2010. Mr. Levinson said the man had been deceived by Mr. Wootton into believing he had been exchanging messages with the woman in the images. Okay, so, right. In this case, my theory's wrong. However, all I'm saying is Dan would have some pull, or people might just send things to Dan anyway. But alright, Dan pretended to be a woman. The hearing heard as that result, the man thought he was talking to a woman who was interested in a not safe for work relationship, and that as a result, he sent intimate photographs of a video of himself carrying out a sex act. You mean like pleasuring himself. But like, not for nothing, why would you send it to anybody anyway? Just saying. Mr. Levinson told the court that Mr. Wootton had tricked the claimant into providing these images. The man subsequently became aware that Maria Joseph did not exist and that he had in fact sent the images to Mr. Wootton. Yeah, so what Dan's doing is absolutely wrong, possibly illegal, I don't know the laws, probably. But look, I just gotta say, don't send yourself doing stuff like that. You know, that's partly your fault. Just to keep it real. I know Dan's not popular. A lot of us don't like Dan, but I gotta say it, man. Would you send those images to somebody? You know, probably not. The man has now brought a claim against the former Sun and GB News journalist, alleging he had been the victim of obtaining not safe for work images by deceit, and that it resulted in him suffering injury, including psychiatric injury. Okay, I mean, injury? Like physical injury? I'm not seeing how that would happen. The case is at an early stage, and Mr. Wootton has not yet filed a defense to the claim. At Tuesday's hearing, Mr. Wootton asked the court to allow the man to be named publicly. I think that's fair, I guess. I mean, if Dan's being named and you're accusing someone, it's going to court. We've been here before with Diddy things and with female victims, and it doesn't feel good to have the person name themselves. I get that, but it seems like legally necessary because you can't defend yourself against an unknown. Because if you know certain things about somebody, but you don't know who's making the accusation exactly, it just doesn't seem fair. They say Dan's been investigated by the Met Police in Britain, which is true. I heard that they didn't actually find anything damning or incriminating, so they couldn't press charges or arrest him. Obviously, they didn't arrest him. He's still at large, you could say. They get into some things about what the judge thought about the case and what the judge thinks about having this person reveal their name, but in the end, they don't have the name reveal, so it doesn't really matter so much what the judge thinks if the person's going to stay anonymous. So as I said, this article here is from April 2025, but this stuff happened like over a year ago. So with what I have to go by, it would seem this one hasn't played out in court yet. And it's interesting, it's the BB News because they're a pretty big outlet. If it was like, Page Six or Daily Mail or something, who are not small outlets, but not quite the name the BBC News has, I think maybe they were kind of stirring things up or regurgitating something not important. So I'll give the BBC News slightly more credit. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. If you're not subscribed to, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.